Welcome back to Shadow of the Colossus. We beat the electric eel. Now time for the gecko one.
Are there more shadow people every time this
Yep.
happens?
Plus
Yeah,
one.
they represent the colossi.
They're making the circle of shame around him.
Yeah. Shame.
Shame. I was told to kill you guys. Would they tell you to jump off a cliff if he's... I mean, I did to get to you.
If it would, if somebody told you that jumping off a cliff would save your girlfriend, would you do it? Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, I already did, so... My next foe is Glass Joe. I should have put him first.
Now, a depressing sort of defeat kind of ending in a video game kind of feels a bit different than a similar ending in a book or a movie.
Well, it's because you're controlling the
It's because
character.
it's more interactive
Yeah.
by principle.
Because it winds up being personal. It's interesting to think about. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing either.
But this time, it's personal.
It's why
guess-
in a lot of like RPGs or other video games where they have those fights that you're supposed to lose, like because if you're writing like a comic book or whatever, your hero can lose a fight and there's nothing's stopping you. But in a video game, if you lose a fight, it bothers me the most in games where you do the boss fight and you win, and then the cutscene just makes you lose. It's one of those things that just makes you really frustrated because it's like, okay, I beat you, but
My
I
favorite
still
way
lose
of
anyway.
handling that is actually to
Beatrix
have a
M9.
boss that you're supposed to lose because the boss is imposing and powerful, but you can still win anyway.
Oh,
Oof.
Lavos.
Lavos, yeah, that's an example. Squall at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts is another. And Majima and Yakuza Kiwami, I think the first boss fight, the first tutorial fight against him for the Majima Everywhere system, he has like just a ludicrously long health bar, but you can still technically win if you're good enough, I think. I haven't done it.
I
but
mean,
it's there.
one of the common things that they do if you're definitely supposed to lose is just have all your attacks do no damage, which works. I like that better than doing a whole boss fight and then just having the cutscene make you lose. But I do
think,
prefer when it's clear that you're still fighting, like you're doing normal
Yeah.
damage and stuff. It's just
Storytelling through gameplay.
I
Yeah.
think the best one of that is Beatrix in Final Fantasy IX, where you're still A, fighting, and B, there's still stuff to do, like stealing her stuff.
Yeah.
So you're
but,
still engaged even though you're supposed to lose.
It's it's less that you're supposed to lose. I think if you lose before the designated point in the battle, it's still a game over.
Yeah.
Super
so
Metroid
y-
does
y-
that.
So
too.
you're still winning the boss, just not the day.
You're winning
but
the battle, not the war.
What I really find interesting about Beatrix in Final Fantasy IX though is that you never actually do beat her.
Nope.
She wins every time. You're the party that saved the world from Necron or whatever the fuck, but you never beat her.
No.
That amuses me.
Why doesn't she join the party then? If she's so
Well, she
I-
does. Temporarily.
She's a temporary party member in one segment, I think, but
Yeah.
she never joins the party permanently. It's interesting to have that kind of figure in the world and the lore because Beatrix herself is a well known war hero, and there's this kind of actually understated element to Alexandria as a country where they have a long history of that kind of person in their military. Like, there's a statue in the very front of the town of some warrior woman from years gone by who's dead and gone. And
Pretty much a more fleshed out Celeste, if you ask me. From
yeah,
Final Fantasy
and
VI.
Steiner makes a comment about no one relying on men in Alexandria when he's telling off one of his Knights of Pluto. So it's an interesting thing, and Beatrix winds up being the ultimate representative of that when you think about it. But it's never really underlined. It's just something about the game story that's interesting, and they do that by having this character that your party of world-saving adventurers never manages to defeat.
I think if you're going to have, to go back to the original topic, if you're going to insist on having a dark ending or at most ambiguous, I'm okay with that if the journey along. What happened?
I ate the
Did
I
the
ate
fruit scare you?
No, I figure you don't. I figure you don't want to see me shooting down the fruit, going over to it, and picking it
Wait,
up.
that took me out of it. Fuck. I think if you're gonna have a dark conclusion or at most an ambiguous situation, the journey has to make up for it. You know, if you're gonna kick me in the balls or at least kick me while I'm down, I better have a good time throughout, or the ending is not the point. Because without spoiling too much, that's why I like Mother 3. I think Mother 3 does that perfectly.
A bad example is another game that I've already brought up in this playthrough, Prince of Persia 2008. People were pissed off by that ending because you spent the entire game fighting all these bosses and sealing up the Dark God Ahriman, and then all of a sudden, in the last 2 minutes of the game, your player character decides to be really selfish. Or some would argue he was making the right choice because Ahriman would get out eventually anyway, and it's better to just get out, to just
Rip that Band-Aid off.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off. Let him escape the seal and just kill the motherfucker. But it was really poorly balanced and poorly portrayed within the narrative. It didn't help that the game that came before it was also, kind of underwhelming in a design and structure standpoint because everything had the same difficulty. But I need to get another copy of that game so I can record it one of these days, but it's kind of a Devil May Cry 2 situation for me. Not necessarily as bad, but I just find the game a bit boring.
Those are the most interesting to do commentary on.
As we discovered in our years of doing this.
Well, I mean, I could probably play through Prince of Persia 2008 way easier than I could stomach Devil May Cry 2. But it kind of... Okay, Prince of Persia 2008 is a game where you can go to any level first, which means every level has to be designed to be just as easy as every other level, and the only difficulty curve they give you is that depending on in what order you do the levels you do later will have like additional dark shadowy things added to the platforming challenges that make the timing a bit more difficult, except not really. It's still
well, that's basically just a Mega Man system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Mega Man system done very, very badly. In Mega Man, the levels tend to have their own unique challenges, Every level is a different experience. It's not really a different experience in Prince of Persia 2008. You're doing the same platforming everywhere. There's nothing unique about how you get through the given areas. I think there are certain areas that you need certain abilities to get through, but those are mainly just the boss areas, I think. It's been a while since I've played it, so I'm not really 100% sure how accurately I'm remembering this.
So it's a very
it's
homogeneous design.
Yeah, I suppose that would be the word. It gets exhausting by the end, and that's why I prefer Sands of Time and Forgotten Sands and Two Thrones. Not so much Warrior Within, but even Warrior Within was technically better.
And I imagine about these subtitles, sand is very important in Prince of Persia.
Well, it's in the desert, John. So.
Well, the Sands of Time are the thing that you use to rewind time in Sands of Time, and they're also the magical threat in the entire Sands trilogy. The Forgotten Sands have nothing to do with the Sands of Time. It's another magical sand that you're dealing with. There's a lot of magical sand in this universe, apparently, and this magical sand turns people into zombies.
I think we just broke a Guinness World Record of the word sand being uttered in less than a minute.
Something coarse and everywhere.
Yeah, basically. I don't think the Forgotten Sands Wii version has anything to do with sand, but I could be misremembering.
That's a water-based game.
It's actually a game that has to do with... Okay, the setup for Forgotten Sands on the Wii is actually kind of funny. The prince, at some point after the other Forgotten Sands game, has had a falling out with his father, found a genie who has promised him his own kingdom, and the genie
Was it played by Robin Williams?
No, it's a girl genie, I think.
Oh, so Zelda Williams, okay.
And she's promised him his own kingdom, so she takes him to this ruined kingdom that has, a lot of shit that needs to be taken care of. It's a definite fixer-upper. And basically tells him, if you go here and do a thing, you can have your kingdom. I swear. I promise. I am not bullshitting you here.
Sure.
Is the plot twist that she's actually bullshitting him?
I haven't played through the Wii version to the end, so I actually don't know what the plot twist is.
I struggled with this guy the first time.
Yeah, he emits poison and other nasty things.
It was to me just getting the good vantage point to shooting limbs.
Well, that too, yeah. He is on a timer, so you do want to try to be fast.
Which is why you have 0 preservation when
What
you're falling
happens
down.
when you run out of time? Does he
He just
kill you?
rolls over.
He flips over and you have to
Oh, okay.
do
I
the
thought
Do
process.
it
that
again.
would. Oh, okay.
It is possible to one-cycle him, you just have to be very good.
Just a frickin' shelled lizard thing, huh?
Yeah, gecko.
Eh.
Save you 15% or more on your dark energy. Thank you, I'll be here all night. Try the Colossus.
Try the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is poison gas, so you want to get out of the way.
Now I'm just picturing like a farm where people breed Colossus monsters, and some of them get killed off for meat very young because they needed something equivalent to veal.
Man,
good.
Stardew Valley got dark. I mean, it's already dark if you've played Shane's Quest, but
The
more.
game opens with a skeleton in a cubicle. So
Wait, there's a skeleton in one of the cubicles?
yeah, at Joja Corp's offices, one of the cubicles has a skeleton in it. Someone died at work and no one noticed.
Okay, you see, but that's just dark humor. That's not like actually dark. I didn't notice that though. I'm gonna need to watch that cutscene again.
Another thing about Joja Corp is that their logo in the office incorporates both the sparkle from Walmart and the smile from Amazon.
And down it goes.
Ow.
That
My leg
could've-
benders.
That could have gone better.
Well, it doesn't really matter as long as I kill him before he kills me.
Don't really have a paraglider.
It's a good thing that he didn't fall on his giant glowy spots though, because then he'd take he'd fall damage as well.
And he's down.
Scalar.
Of the Colosseum.
Scalar. Scales. Lizard. You get it?
I don't.
Just do your thing, dark ooze thing. Hug.
So, does the girl actually come back to life?
Well, I mean, we're going to see that at the end anyway. She does, but,
Is she the ghost in Ico?
She's the girl in Ico, yes.
Yeah, but the girl in Ico is like a ghosty thing, right?
Eh.
Eh?
interpretation.
I'm awake!
How many have you killed at this point in the game? Like half?
We are, we're halfway done.
Okay.
Well, no, a little over 6. I can't remember. No, I think that was 8. Yeah, that was 8. So we're halfway done.
Okay.
So are we gonna, like, do anything to him?
Shut up, fool. Keep staring.
Well, he's not awake. He can't see us staring.
So when do we get to draw a dick on his face?
I mean, no one's around to tell him. He'll never notice.
Oh, God, you're a colossal dick.
Oh man, I'm
Someone
a
just
5-year-old.
Someone just has to make light of the situation, don't they?
Well, I mean, we're shadows.
Hey, thank
so-
God no one of the producers didn't have that kind of sense of humor, because you know somebody with the perverse sense of humor will have you climb one of the colossalized genitalia.
Dude, I am afraid to look up fan art of this because I'm sure they have some weird ass Shadow of the Colossus porn out there somewhere.
Well, if they didn't, they do now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it can't be any worse than Attack on Titan.
Of course, there's Attack on Titan porn. I don't even know why I bothered being surprised.
Oh boy, the next one's one of the more annoying ones.
Is it the second flying one?
No, this is the lake bed one. With the geysers.
I can hardly wait.
They're gonna have to. We're between recording sessions now.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see if the next part has a Colossus.